So my name is Stefanyk. I'm founder and CEO of Kanopi Studios, and we're a open source digital agency that provides design, development, and support services.
So it's great. It's good to talk to you. And so what I wanted to do, Anne, is ask you, before we started working together, what is it that you wanted to achieve, or what problem were you facing, especially on the sales side of your business?
So my strategies were a little bit more on the relationship side of things, and our business has always grown from a place of referrals and word of mouth. A lot of the efforts that we would do was more, we would just kind of what you would call spray and pray. Like we'd go to a conference, we had some follow-up strategies, but a lot of the stuff just came, and our business grew very organically through word of mouth and referrals. So in that, I was wanting to get more fishing lines in the water and just really become more strategic, because I was keen on building an actual strategic, repeatable, scalable sales process instead of it just relying on doing the word of mouth or people knowing me specifically, because I've worked in Drupal for a really long time.
If you were to have continued on that path of just doing referral-based sales and kind of spray and pray, what would that mean? What would have that meant for your business and also for you personally?
Well, a lot of it was that it just relied on me. So in order for me to work more on the business instead of in the business, I've got to get to a place where I can hire other people to do the job. So it really just meant impeding growth by not doing it, and getting to a place where personally, if I can have a checklist of things that I know I've done and I have more fishing lines in the water, I can actually sleep better at night because I know that I've done that I need to put into play. And without that, it's again, I'm at the mercy of the business instead of me being at the helm of the ship. And so I'm
being at the helm of the ship instead of at the mercy of the boat.
Yeah.
Cool. So after we get started and once we start working together, what are three parts of the program, or what three parts of the operational systems that we've put in place have made the biggest impact for you and your company?
Yeah, I would say some of the immediately we took away was building soft contracts. And that's when we come out of a sales call, we immediately document kind of what the problem was, what the value is, how we're going to solve that, what those next steps are. That was really helped bring a lot of clarity and allow the person that I maybe had the phone call to forward that email along, and I would still have that control of the process. And that was like incredibly valuable to help speeding up the time that we close deals. And through that, the element of what you call future pacing is the other one, which that's really helpful because we've always been able to kind of set next steps, which also helped really increase the delivery time on like the close times. They're shortening, which is something that was unexpected. I was really looking to work with you first off for more like prospecting, because I was like, I want to get more fishing lines in the water, and I thought, oh, it's prospecting. Right. But really some of those gems that came up was, how do I actually move what we've got in the pipeline through quicker, which I was like, yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think a lot of times, we go into a program like this with certain intentions, and then, we can discover together other gaps or other opportunities to improve what you did. And so, as you mentioned, the soft contract, so you got more control of the sale, and obviously that leads to growing the business, getting more deals closed, and doing it in a shorter period of time. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, of course it does. So you mentioned prospecting as well, and I know you've got a person on your team that does a lot of the outbound sales development work for you now. Would you mind taking a minute or two just talking a little bit about some of the work that's been done there on the prospecting side and some of the results that you've received?
Sure. Yeah. So regarding some of the work we've been doing with prospecting, we brought in a gentleman by the name of Justin just to help with that outbound, because there was one thing that was concerning, was my time and bandwidth to be able to do it. What's been really great is that we've been able to have a formula where we've been able to follow it, and that's produced a lot of immediate value, because the formula isn't around like gimmicks or things that GIFs or videos and stuff like that. It's actually about creating value and conversation with the end client, which has been super valuable. So as we've gotten kind of not only like a formula to use, where we touch, who we call, like what kind of what method or which channel we use to get in touch with them, there's also a key strategy around what the messaging is. And it's not just like, yay, we're Kanopi, this is awesome, come work with us. It's much more value driven on like, we noticed that you have, your site loads really slow, or you're not even mobile ready. Your site's not responsive at all. And then people have been responding, and then been putting them through the workflows has been fun. And also, we haven't always gotten it right the first time, but we've definitely on the right path. And then we've been able to modify and really make what the formula works. It's trying to figure out the exact, what's a better analogy here? Like the recipe works. We just got to figure out the right, measurements or whatever. Yeah. Right. And I feel like that's more about like the content strategy around the process. And that's been working really well.
Yeah, so just the fundamental shift of, hey, what do you need, or can I pitch you, to here's some value that we can create as part of your sales process, and that affects everything else downstream. And it's different, that value creation is different for every company.
Exactly.
It's a matter of sticking, like you said, sticking to that formula, and then figuring out which of the variables you need to tweak and adjust in order to get the results that you need to get.
Perfect. Yeah, that's it. That's perfect.
And I know over the last couple of weeks, you've reported some nice business. You mind sharing some of the revenue?
Yeah, sure. No worries.
You don't have to talk about specific customers, but I'd love to hear about some of the revenue growth that we've been able to help you achieve.
Yeah, so we've reached out to a bunch of lists. We have had most success with our warm list, which people that we've interacted with at these conferences and so forth. We've closed on the books, already started $72,000 in project work. We have another. Hey, yes, that's awesome. This is all directly as a result of the new system and process. We have another 70K in the pipeline that's in the contract phase. So those I'm just waiting for actual like dotted I's and crossed T's and some digital ink. And so that's wonderful. And we do have one massive support contract in our queue that we've putting together a specific proposal and offering for them, which is worth $250,000. So those... Oh, that's all like happened within like the last 2-3 months that we've really been focused on this with you, I believe. Like the results are very quick, which has been fantastic. So
love to hear that. So
I
was going to ask you how that's yeah. So how's that, obviously it's impacted your business. How about for you personally? I mean, what impact has it had for you to know that you've got these systems in place and you're getting these kinds of results?
It's just, it's nice to know that we have, and we're just at the beginning now, I feel like, now that we're getting a little bit more clear on our real vision of where we want to take this. And even it's helped with our strategic company positioning in our messaging. So personally for me, it just helps me sleep at night, because the one thing I think as an entrepreneur that you always worry about is new business and payroll, right? It's like, do we have enough new business to cover enough payroll? And to, of course, profit is what you're working for to make sure that happens. So this helps provide like a checklist to know that we've done all the things that we can do, like we've done the best we can. And if sometimes also rejection is protection. So losing a deal is not always the worst thing, but it's definitely nice. And I feel confident that the deals that we're winning, not only are they good deals, they're just well suited for us, and we're going to have I don't have to worry about this as much as I did 6 months ago. Right. So that's great. I can sleep more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've mentioned 3 different words that are 3 of my favorite words. Earlier you mentioned clarity, knowing what you're doing every day. Second, we talked about control, having control of the process, having control of the business. And then you just mentioned this word confidence, which is, it's sort of that elusive feeling I think a lot of us have as entrepreneurs. Like on the one hand, we're confident because we're going out there doing this. On the other hand, we're kind of like, okay, what if this doesn't work? And so there's like, is the fraud police around the corner and they're going to shut me down because I didn't do something right?
Yeah.
I always sort of have this little voice in the back of my head, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs do as well. So I know, we had talked, several months, maybe not several months, like 2 months before we actually kicked off, because we met at a conference. And there was a point where we almost didn't start working together. And I'm just kind of curious, what were some of the reasons why you almost didn't join the program and start working with me and the rest of the team?
So as the boss, I am very busy, like super busy. And I feel like there's not enough time in every day. So and I think you've priced strategically because it is something to be serious and think about. It's not just, a monthly subscription. You really have to be committed. And my biggest fear was I would not be able to make the time to be there. So if I was going to invest that much money, I just maybe wouldn't make the time to be there. And because it feels like there's a lot of work to do. And I was like, oh, I've got, so much other work to do. I've got these contracts, I've got these proposals, I've got, HR to deal with, I've got finance and operations. I have to, make sure that any issues are resolved, because CEO life is not just sales. And so I was worried that I'd spend that money and not be able to spend the time at it. And I wasn't ready for it. And it was actually, of course, you're good at what you do. And I had a video come across my desk, and I just put it on while I was doing some late night admin work. And I turned off the admin work and I got my notepad out, and I immediately took stuff away from that. And then I went through your podcast, and I was like, I'm wasting my time not working with you. So,
that's awesome.
We went to, you then invited me to that full day sales event. And that was, again, the value sell. Like, I got lots of value out of your webinar. I got lots of value out of the event. And at that point it was like, okay, well, let's just this is great. Let's keep doing this. This is awesome.
So I know it's really helpful for a lot of people that are thinking about the same thing. They're always struggling with time. It's like, oh, I don't have time for this, but if you don't make time for it, then it's never going to happen. So
it's true.
Just two last questions here. What's your favorite part of working together?
It's actually, I really love all the tools and stuff, but I love the consistency. I love that you help get us focused. You help us stay focused. You are also really good at helping when a new information comes up by, providing information for that, but there's still a general focus. And if something shows up that's very, it's important to follow, it's not like you have a lot of hard rules. There's a lot of process and a lot of structure to it. And there's a lot of consistency, but there's a lot of flexibility built in to actually meet your business needs. So for example, I had an account manager who recently left, and I was like, okay, we're focusing on prospecting. We're focusing on pulling people through the pipeline. I thought my internal sales team, the people that are just doing the work, I haven't worried about that. Now I should maybe worry about that. So we got a little nugget of information. So my favorite part is that you're super structured, but you're also very flexible. And it's also that you really help us stay focused. That's
really great. I structure everything so that we can be flexible. It's a lot of times you think of the word structure and flexible as almost antonyms. And in fact, with the right structure, if you have the right rules, the right structure in place, that allows you to be a lot more flexible. So,
exactly.
So thank you for that. So who would you recommend, the program to and working with me to, and why would you recommend it?
Yeah, if someone is seriously considering this, if they're serious about their business, if they want to take their business very seriously and make it happen for themselves, if they want to be a complacent person, that it won't be the program for them, because you actually need to get up and take action. But I think I feel like this program will be effective for someone who is a 3-person shop that wants to grow. If it's a product that you're building that's a startup, I think that you're well situated to help with any startup businesses. But I also think that someone like myself, who's an agency and I'm a mid-tier business where I'm dealing with larger clients and I don't have a product, it's really very, very, very applicable to, in my world anyways. I would say that anybody that owns an agency or has a service level business, at first, that's one of the things that I thought, oh, it's a product. Is it maybe too product focused? No, it's perfect for that. And anybody that really wants to take business to the next level. And that's whether it's a 3-person shop, a 20-person shop, even I think a 100-person shop with a more bigger sales process. I think there's lots of value to be had on no matter how big or small, but definitely, I think you've got a good spot with working with startups and agencies. So,
yeah. Well, thanks. I think I go back to the structure a little bit where, whether somebody's in startup mode, ramp up mode, or scale up mode,
exactly.
We've developed the structure of the program so that we kind of suit it for you. So whether you are the 1, 2, 3-person shop, or you're in ramp up mode, you're trying to get from 10 people to 100, or you're in scale up mode and you really want to blow out your business, you can 10x it in the next couple of years. That's why we built everything the way that we built it. So Anne, this has been awesome. I always enjoy catching up with you and the rest of the team. And for those of you that are watching it, if you want to learn more about the work that we do here at Startup Selling and how it could help you, then if you're on the website right now, you're at salesqualia.com. And if you're not at salesqualia.com, go over to salesqualia, that's QUALIA.com. Over there, you'll see some of the videos that Ann had mentioned, free resources. There's links to all the different podcasts, tons of blog posts, just so you get to know more about what I do, how I do it, how I think about it, how I approach the structure of helping people like Ann grow. So, Ann, it's been awesome.
Yeah, so fun
Thanks
to
so
connect.
much for sharing all the great news. Looking forward to the next stage of growth for you and Justin and the rest of the team. We get like 10 Justins for you in a while.
Yeah, no kidding, because it's been almost just under a quarter that we worked together, just about 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what's happened so quickly. So I'm really excited to see what happens over the next 9 and more.
Future looks bright. Awesome.
Yeah,
well, thanks so much for taking the time today, Ann. I'll let you get back to it and let me know, obviously, if I can help you with anything.
Sounds good. Thanks. Good luck, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.